Imagine it's January 1st, 2026. Everyone around you is posting the same empty messages about a new year and a new version of themselves, only to slide back into their old routines before the first week is even over. But you look in the mirror and barely recognize the person looking back. You're calmer, sharper, and for the first time in years, you feel like you actually own your life. It didn't happen because of a dramatic transformation or a stroke of luck. It happened because today, while you're watching this, you decided to download a new operating system for your brain. There is a specific biological reason why your previous attempts at change failed, and it has nothing to do with your lack of willpower, but with a tiny configuration error in your evolutionary hardware that I'll explain in a moment. Let's be honest. Most people don't fail because they're lazy, they fail because their life is perfectly designed to keep them exactly the same. You have the same habits, the same apps, the same people, and the same 2 a.m. scrolling routine that leaves you feeling like a sleepy raccoon. Your brain loves that because its primary job isn't to make you legendary, it's to keep you alive by saving energy. Every time you try to level up, your brain goes into panic mode and tells you that growth is risky. But 2026 can be the year you awaken, not because the world changed, because you did. We're going to break the cycle right now with 10 quiet habits that will rebuild your life from the foundation up. The first habit is the 1% rule, based on the Japanese concept of Kaizen. Forget the overnight transformations they sell you on social media. The human brain has a natural friction detector in the anterior cingulate cortex that activates when you try to do something too big. If you say you're going to study for 5 hours today, your brain detects the effort, gets scared, and sends you to watch memes instead. To hack this, you must make the step so small it's ridiculous to say no. Don't try to read a book, read 2 pages. Don't try to train for an hour, put on your shoes and walk for 10 minutes. This approach isn't for immediate results, it's for building rhythm. Rhythm builds mastery, and every tiny win sends a signal to your reward system that says you are someone who keeps your word. But be careful, because this is where most people sabotage themselves. They think the small stuff doesn't count, when in reality, it's the only thing that builds the identity of a winner. This leads us to one of the biggest productivity lies you still believe, that you need motivation before you start. The truth is that motivation isn't a starting point, it's a dopamine feedback loop. Your biology won't give you that spark until it sees progress. This is where habit 2 comes in, the 2-minute activation protocol. When you feel that mental resistance is unbearable, promise yourself you will only do the task for 120 seconds, just 2 minutes. This tiny movement releases a microdose of dopamine and norepinephrine that increases your focus and alertness. It's what psychologists call behavioral activation. Once the body is in motion, mental friction drops by 70%. The question you need to ask yourself now is, what task have you been avoiding because it looks like a mountain when you really just need to climb the first step? But none of this works if your biologichial hardware is misaligned. The third habit is the biological jet lag reset through sunlight. Your circadian rhythm is controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a master clock in your hypothalamus that syncs your body to light. If the first thing you do upon waking is look at the blue light of your phone in a dark room, you're sending contradictory signals to your system. Your brain gets confused, cortisol spikes at the wrong time, and melatonin is delayed for the night. The habit is simple. In the first 15 minutes after waking, go to a window or step outside. Let natural light hit your eyes. This tells your biology that the day has begun, automatically programming your energy for the next 16 hours and ensuring your deep sleep is restorative. It's a performance hack that costs nothing but changes your blood chemistry immediately. Here is the part nobody tells you about success. Silence is a power tool, not a void. The fourth habit is 5 minutes of absolute silence every day. We live in an attention economy designed to keep you in reaction mode. If you're not consuming information, you're responding to notifications. Your default mode network, which is where creativity and deep processing happen, never gets a chance to reboot. Sit, breathe, and do nothing. At first, the boredom will feel like physical torture because your brain is addicted to cheap dopamine. But it is precisely in that boredom that your mind begins to organize its internal files. Silence generates clarity, and clarity generates power. If you can't be alone with your thoughts for 5 minutes, you are not the master of your mind. You're a slave to your impulses. The fifth habit is called nemasashi, or environment design. Elite students and professionals in Japan don't rely on willpower because they know willpower is a finite resource that drains like a phone battery. Instead, they engineer their success. If you want to study, put the book open on your desk the night before. If you want to eat better, don't hide the fruit in the bottom drawer of the fridge. Your brain has a constant friction detector. If a task requires 3 extra steps to start, you probably won't do it. Decrease the steps for good habits and increase them for bad ones. Put your phone in another room. Use grayscale mode so it's less attractive. Don't fight your environment, make it your ally. Success shouldn't be an uphill battle, it should be the easiest option available in your room. Now, let's talk about the deepest layer of rebuilding your life, the identity shift. This is the 6th habit, and it's the final boss of transformation. If you keep saying you're trying to be productive, your brain hears that you aren't that person yet. There is a massive difference between saying, "I don't smoke," and "I'm trying to quit." Your words are the code you use to program your subconscious. Stop saying you're a mess or that you have a bad memory. Start saying, "I am the type of person who does hard things with ease." At first, it'll feel fake, but your brain is a pattern-matching creature. If you hold that identity, your behavior will start to align to avoid cognitive dissonance. Don't force yourself to be disciplined. Become the person who doesn't need motivation because their identity has already made the choice for them. As we move forward, the tension increases because the world will try to drag you back to mediocrity. The 7th habit is the habit of saying no faster. In 2026, your time and your energy will be your most expensive assets. If something drains you, if it's fake, or if it simply doesn't align with your vision, you must say no, but with love. Protect your peace. Many of you suffer from what psychology calls fawning. You say yes to everything to avoid conflict and end up burnt out. Learn the power of the period. I can't go on Friday. Period. You don't need to give a 3-paragraph explanation. When you justify your no, you're giving the other person an opportunity to negotiate your boundaries. Your existence is valid, and your no is enough. The silence that follows a clear boundary is where your self-respect grows. But what about the engine that drives all of this? The 8th habit is the consistent sleep maintenance system. In the West, we treat sleep like a debt we can pay off on weekends, but biology doesn't work like a bank. Your brain needs consistency to wash away metabolic waste through the glymphatic system. The habit isn't just sleeping more, but sleeping smarter. Lock in your sleep times even on weekends. If you stay up late, wake up at your usual time and use a strategic 15-minute power nap before 4 p.m. This clears out adenosine sleep pressure without ruining your nightly cycle. Rest isn't a reward for hard work, it's the foundation that makes hard work possible. If your brain is running in low battery mode, it doesn't matter how many productivity hacks you use, you'll always feel like a zombie with Wi-Fi. The 9th habit is interrogative reading. Most people read like an NPC in a video game, just scanning text with their eyes and forgetting it 10 minutes later. Knowledge only becomes power when it's integrated. Before you read anything, ask yourself, what problem am I trying to solve with this book? How does this connect to what I already know? After every chapter, close the book and try to recall everything you can without looking at your notes. This is called active retrieval, and it's what builds retrieval strength in your neurons. Don't read to finish books, read to transform your mind. If a book doesn't make you think differently, you haven't read it, you've just looked at ink-stained paper. Finally, the 10th habit is to do one thing for your future self every single day. Before you go to sleep, ask yourself, what tiny gift can I leave for the person who will wake up tomorrow? It could be laying out your clothes, clearing your desk, or finishing that one difficult email. When you wake up and see that your past self took care of you, you start to trust yourself. A lack of confidence is simply the result of breaking promises you made to yourself. By fulfilling these tiny tasks, you rebuild that bank of trust.
One day, you'll realize it wasn't the big, dramatic changes that did it, but these quiet, tiny choices, this gentle discipline and constant self-respect. At this point, you must understand that you aren't a broken person, you're simply misconfigured. Your life didn't get ruined by being unproductive, it stalled because you believed the wrong lies about how your mind works. These 10 habits are your railway tracks. 6 months from now, you won't be able to identify exactly which habit changed things. You'll just notice that you're sleeping better, thinking more clearly, and the chaos that used to overwhelm you now feels manageable. Success isn't something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become through your daily systems. Don't try to apply all 10 habits tomorrow. That would trigger your friction detector and lead you right back to the couch. Pick one, just one. Do it for 14 days until it feels automatic, until it's part of who you are. Then add the next one. Build slow, build sustainable, because the life you want isn't built in a moment of inspiration under the shower. It's built in the 1,000 mundane moments where you decide to show up for yourself when nobody else is watching. 2026 isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a state of mind you start building today, brick by brick, habit by habit. Your future self is giving you a standing ovation right now, not for finishing this video, but for what you're going to do in the next 2 minutes. If this resonated somewhere deep in your mind, if you feel like this is the moment something finally clicked, I want you to do something real. Don't just nod your head. Write in the comments which of these 10 habits you are going to master first. Make it public. Make it real. We are building a community of people who have stopped waiting for motivation and started leading their biology. Subscribe if you're ready to stop running the system on default mode and start programming your own reality. Remember, boring is beautiful because boring is what works. I'll see you in the next step of your evolution. Stay legendary, stay hydrated, and above all, stay focused. The turning point is now.